This is my current creeper farm. That's right, it stinks, so I want to build a new one. And no, I'm not just talking about making a simple mob farm or adding more layers. This will involve breaking bedrock, slicing portals, and building some of the most insane and complex redstone contraptions that you have ever seen to build Minecraft's fastest mob farm, End of Life. As expected, I went way over time on this video, and it ended up taking about 150 hours to record. So if that's not dedication, I don't know what is. If you could subscribe, that would mean the world to me. Now enjoy the video. Part of the reason why this mob farm is so fast is because it's built at the lowest possible Y level in the world. And so this meant that I need to break a lot of bedrock before I could start this project. But there is one problem with the bedrock breaker. It doesn't actually break the bedrock underneath the machine. So that means you need to break the bedrock underneath the machine manually or use the overhead from the machine. Bruh, the answer's literally obvious. Manual bedrock breaking takes forever. Why would you ever... Finally, this is pretty much the entire trench done. I just need to do this last layer. And this is the first layer done. The second layer. Here's the third layer. Well, what do you know? When I was just breaking this one layer of bedrock, it revealed a hole which revealed some diamonds. Oh my gosh. And now finally, after about 100 Minecraft days of work, the last layer of bedrock is complete. And you may be thinking, I'm done now, I can start work on the other project. No, I gotta mine out these trenches as well so that the machine can actually work on them. Now finally, oh, it's thundering? Right as I start recording? Oh my gosh. But I don't care. Finally, we are on the last bit of bedrock. And for the sake of right now, I'm just gonna break it using TNT. Oh my gosh, that took a while. There was, however, one more problem with the bedrock breaker. The machine used up one piston for every bedrock that it broke, so I would have to craft up thousands and thousands of pistons. For the cobblestone part of this, I've just turned this measly concrete converter into a stone generator. So if I just do something like this. And I bet 8 shulker boxes of cobblestone will do the trick. And for the wood aspect of this, I think I'm just going to grab a couple of spruce saplings and then bone meal a couple of giant taiga trees. Here we go, that's definitely a lot of wood. Now it's time to mine it all up. There we go, 1.5 shulker boxes should do the trick. Now it's time to get redstone. In order to get redstone, I created a system called a void trader, which basically would send me through an end gateway every time that I enter the villager's trading interface, allowing me to trade infinitely. I've got a villager from this village, and now I intend to bring him all the way to the stronghold. Yeah, he's just wandered over here himself. So if I go something like that, I built the minecart track, and now what I've got to do is I've actually got to go inside of the end gateway. I'll add a slab there, a rail next to it. Now if I send this guy along, you'll see he'll go up the minecart track, fly over to that other minecart track, and then he went through the end gateway. And now I've just got this guy into a boat over here. Now I need to get a brewing stand for his job site, and then this entire machine will be completely working. And I think this is going to be the last trade for now, but here we go. 24 redstone. Going to get out of here. I'll take the redstone with me, and I think I'm gonna head out of here now. But before I can do those machines, I actually need to finish the perimeter, because you'll see it doesn't quite fit this entire sphere just quite yet. So, which is why I need to make a couple more TNT machines, and first I actually need to take these down. And while I was able to take down the machines, I failed to remove the entire area because some of the machines were blowing themselves up and a lot of them broke, so I just decided to put it off until later. This meant I could build up the bedrock breaker by Desu. Place a load of pistons, and now I finally finished building this piston placer. It took a very, very long time to build. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place a piston facing downwards, break that block. It should be automatically placing and moving all the pistons along. I've also just turned on hitboxes, so it's a lot easier to see where all the items are. Since it's getting annoying just going back and forth between breaking bedrock and placing pistons, what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to get enough pistons to cover the entire thing, and then we can use the bedrock breaker. Well, I wasn't able to get enough for the entire thing, but a shulker box and a bit more should it should last me for a little while at least. And unfortunately, despite all that, the machine still managed to break. Are you kidding? I didn't realize this at the time, but logging out of the game or unloading the chunks with the piston placer would actually break the entire machine. And so now I've got the long process of mining up this entire machine. And now you're probably thinking, how am I going to place all these pistons down? Luckily, I've actually managed to design my own. And it's at this point that I've realized that by accident, I forgot to stop the machine, and then these machines collided, and oh my gosh. The entire machine just broke. And now I've got to rebuild this entire thing all over again. Are you kidding me? And I don't know how, but the machine actually managed to delete some of the ancient debris, so I had to go strip mining for a little bit more before I could rebuild the rest of the machine. And it's funny because I spent a while building that piston placer, and it ended up being garbage anyway. So I just decided to find another design online. Well, it took a while, but the entire thing is complete. As you can see, the bedrock has been removed all the way over the top. And that process might have taken a long time, but now I've got to do that same process 4 more times. This could take a while. And now, as you can see, we are getting to the final layer. It's about time. And although, for some reason, this first row of bedrock glitched a bit, and the headless pistons got reset because something updated, I don't know. And so anyways, we still got this bedrock here, which is in the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a simpler, but quick and easy, one-way bedrock breaker. And here is the machine. Thankfully, it didn't take very long to build at all, and it's actually really simple. All I have to do is fly up to the top here, and then this observer, I just have to place a block here, and then the machine starts going. But now we've got all this bedrock to break, so let's play it in time lapse. Ooh! Well, that's not too great. I don't know what happened there. Oh no. Although, to be honest, the machine has already gotten rid of most of the bedrock, so it's probably just going to be faster to get rid of the rest of the bedrock manually. It's not that it takes a long time to build the machine, it's because the machine blew up a couple of the items. I can't really be losing any more honey than what I have right now, because I already don't have that much as it is. And here we go. I've now built the entire machine. Now I'm gonna grab a lever. I've also just realized that the area doesn't actually reach this bottom layer, so I actually didn't need to break that. Although it looks cool. It's symmetrical, okay? Woo! Woo! I'll be honest, this is one of the craziest things that I've ever seen, and let alone one of the craziest things that I've ever done in survival. And since I was going to be making so many portals, I also made an obsidian farm to collect all of the obsidian. Throw another block there, so that lands on that pressure plate. Now, 12 items in there, chunk loader's working, everything's working, and then and after a couple minutes, as you can see, the block breaking sound is consistently occurring. So as you can see, the snowballs from the snow golem earlier are being shot into the portal. They hurt the wither, and he is destroying that obsidian platform over and over and over again. And now you'll see that the timer has actually gone off for an hour. And so now what I've got to do is I've actually got to make an iron golem, because turns out that you can't actually move from this place once you're in it, or else the wither will move away. So now, yeah, that iron golem should take out the wither just fine. And there we go. Now the wither is killed, and I can actually pick up this shulker box now, thankfully. So now let's see how much obsidian we've got. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness! Oh, that's so much obsidian. Wait, what? Oh my goodness! We only needed like a shulker box and a half. So the next thing that we're going to need is some sort of non-sticky block, and like about 4.5 shulker boxes of it. And so I'm going to use terracotta, just because glazed terracotta actually. I'm also going to collect hay bales here because I'm going to need a lot of hay bales for target blocks later on. And now I'm here at the Badlands. I've set up a beacon for myself for haste 2, and now it's time to get mining up loads and loads of white terracotta. And thankfully for the rest of the white terracotta that I need, there's actually a Badlands biome right nearby this void perimeter, which still looks absolutely amazing. And so by then I had gotten all of the white terracotta that I would need, so the last thing to do was to smelt it down into glazed terracotta. Yeah, and already all the furnaces are pretty much full of white terracotta. They just need to smelt them now, which it'll take a little bit of time, but it should be pretty fine. But while the furnaces are smelting all the items, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather up a load of sandstone. Yeah, thankfully sandstone you can insta-mine it without even needing a beacon, so this is going to be really easy. And now while I wait for those to smelt, I better get to work and finish these TNT flying machines. And there we go. As you can see, this perimeter is completely cleared out. That side took a while, but thankfully it is all over. And now I just need to clean up this last return station, and then I'll check back on the auto smelter. And I guess with that done, that brings us to part 2. This farm works by the mobs spawning in and instantly teleporting to the nether through the nether portals. But the problem is that there are so many mobs that it would actually clog up the system if I just had a regular nether portal on the other side. Not to mention bats can get stuck up at the top of the obsidian, so that's why I wanted to make a sliced portal for the nether side of this farm. Now you're probably sitting here thinking that that is physically impossible, because as soon as you break the obsidian, that breaks the portal blocks as well. But with an update suppressor, you can actually fix that problem. You see, what an update suppressor does is it creates so many updates in a single tick that the game actually stops processing updates, allowing you to create updates without them getting processed ever. Obviously, there are people way smarter than me that have created way better explanations of update suppression, so if you want to learn more about it, then I'll leave a link in the description. This update suppressor is by Floppy Donkey Knee, and thankfully it is much simpler than the one I'm going to be building later on in this video. But enough of my chitter chatter, I've got a suppressor to build. I've now built the entire update suppressor, and if all goes to plan, when we flick that, and so you'll see these rails are butted, they're powered when they shouldn't be, and if you think this build is cool, watch this.
Boom, bam, bop, bada bop, boom, pow.
Floating sand. Well, it took 2 crashes to show you, but a piston head. What we gotta do is we just gotta fill in this entire thing with all of this terracotta and all of this obsidian. And now that the platform has been filled out, what I've got to do is I've got to finish off with the tunnel, And I've also got to remove the update suppressor and build an even bigger one at the perimeter. Bats are an absolute pain. Normally mobs would just fall and die to the fall damage, but bats can fly, which is why I've created a system that will make them die to the lava. Alright, so all of those machines have been built now, and you're probably thinking, there's nothing else you can do. You're ready to slice all the portals. But there's one problem though. Portals emit light, and mobs can't spawn where there's light. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a light suppressor. But the problem is, those things are expensive. It takes about 16 stacks of observers and about 10 stacks of pistons to build one of those. Pistons, obviously, I've crafted a lot of pistons for the bedrock breaker, so that I don't have to worry about. But if I come over here, you'll see I have already mined up a load of cobblestone for observers, but there's one problem. I don't have very much redstone, and I don't have much quartz, so I'm gonna need to go on a mining expedition.
Later.
There's 4 stacks.
Much later.
8 stacks.
Much later.
12 stacks.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
And here we go. I've now got all the nether quartz that I need and a little bit extra. And I'll be honest, that didn't take nearly as long as I thought it would. Oh my gosh, I was just struggling to find a lot of redstone until I found this cave. There was a vein there, there's a vein there, there's a vein there, and there's even a vein right there. Yeah, there's redstone everywhere here. I have now got every single material that I'll need to build this right here, and I think I've gone broke in the process. As you can see, I'm building this machine at the build height so that it creates the most light updates. And as you can see, I've also fit this in the spawn chunks so that it will always be working once I turn it on. Basically, what a light suppressor does is it creates so many light updates to slow down the light engine and to stop any more light updates from being able to be processed. And now I bet you all want to see this light suppressor in action, so let's do this. So this is what it's like to play Minecraft on a potato, huh? And I've just noticed that there's some phantoms up here, so real quick, I'm just going to turn that machine off before they absolutely knock me off that platform. That would be a tragedy. Over here, I'm going to place a torch. And over here, I'm going to break this torch. You can't really see it because I have full bright on here. I've also just realized that I can just change it by changing the brightness like that. You'll see right here, this torch is not lighting it up properly. You'll see it has 0 block light standing right next to a torch. And here where I had the torch before, you'll see there's still the light when there's no torch. So we can create portals with 0 light. And now, as you'll see, I'm farming up a lot of sandstone, or just mining it up, I guess you could say. And that's because this roof that I need to build over the farm, it is massive, and it will take like 6 shulker boxes of sandstone. And that is the first shulker box filled. And there's the second shulker box. The third shulker box. The fourth. And at this point, my pickaxe is almost broken, so I'm just gonna make a substitution. The fifth. And finally, the sixth shulker box is also filled up. It is done. And now I've created the outline for this roof, and yeah, I've just gotta place about 6 shulker boxes of items to fill in the entire thing now. And after gathering glass, obsidian, flint and steels, and a lava bucket, I was ready to slice all of the portals. So I created a simple hopper timer at the light suppressor and flew over to the perimeter. Mainly just because chunks don't really load properly once the light suppressor is in action. And while I wait for the light suppressor to turn on, I'm just gonna grab a bit of food real quick. And now I'm actually gonna check if the light suppressor is working correctly. And the way I can see that is just by flying up. Now you'll see we shouldn't be able to load any new chunks. There we go. Now we know that the light suppressor is working. Light the portal. Slice the portal. And this is why I set up the haste beacons, because mining up obsidian is not a fun task. You gotta place one here, one there. So now glass, glass, glass. Since I extended it one to the east, I just had to remove that obsidian. And it looks like it's level 11. I've now gotta go through this portal, get up, take items out. Oh! Yeah, now you'll see chunks don't really load very well. Yeah, I probably should have relogged first. And now you'll see at these portals here, they emit 0 light whatsoever. That is perfect. And so that meant I would have to do that same process 90 more times. And while I was working on slicing all of the portals, disaster struck. And now I think it's time for a heartbreak moment. I messed up. The game crashed while it was running. Something messed up. The light levels were gone. And that means everything has to be redone. Are you kidding me? But that wasn't gonna stop me. I had spent far too long on this project for it to just go to waste. So I rebuilt the entire bloodline and started over. And I am now finally onto the last layer. It has taken so long. I just want to finish. I honestly don't know what to say. This has taken so long. And I am so happy that I am finally finished. Can you believe it? We started this project on day 500. And now we're on day 1000. We're done! We're done! We are done! Before we build this collection system, I just want to say a huge thank you to Sensei for making the tutorial for how to build this farm, and also the members of Hammer SMP, VK Tech, Victor 40, and I'm a MC for discovering light suppression. So I'm gonna get this machine mined up too. That's this bud line done. And as you can see here, that line over there has been removed. Alright, and now I've finished removing this entire update suppressor, and as you can still see the shadow from where it once stood. And you're also probably wondering why I'm using my fortune pickaxe. That's because at one point while slicing all the portals, I accidentally threw my pickaxe into the nether portal. And you gotta understand, slicing all the portals, if you were to go through one of the portals, it would mess up the light suppression, and yeah, it'd just wreck a couple things. And I would have to restart the entire process. Not for the entire thing, but just for those layers. And it just hadn't been working for a couple times, so I chose to keep the update suppression working over my pickaxe. And now I've used up about 3 things of shears to collect the loads and loads of seagrass. And so now I've just got to spend ages and ages just breeding up turtles so we can get about 6.5 stacks of turtle eggs. And 6 and a bit stacks of turtle eggs should be good. That took a very long time. For the killing chamber side of this farm, I added a moving platform of end rods and walls to kill the mobs to fall damage. And I added a system that would push all of the items down into the middle, where they could be sorted. And since I'm actually running out of time, not just in Minecraft, but also in real life, I think I'm just gonna have to leave it here with the storage system. I will add in all of the shulker box loaders eventually, but I don't really have time for that, so that'll have to be for another episode. What we have to do now is we have to light suppress, remove the roof, and add in the glass and turtle eggs. Oh, I just realized this isn't insta-mineable. But now you'll see a lot of bats are spawning now, and if we turn on that portal, you'll see a bunch of bats will come back through, and then once we have a working bat switch, we just turn off that portal. And since that portal is the highest portal in the world, the bats will automatically teleport to that portal there. Alright, there we go. And now no more bats will be able to spawn. And so the last thing to be done was to light suppress and remove the roof. If you're wondering why I'm using my fortune pickaxe, I broke my pickaxe again! And I actually apologize ahead of time because since I'm gonna be AFK at this farm on the overworld side, there's actually no possible way for you guys to see the nether side without me using like a player or like a bot to load the farm while I'm in the nether, just because of the way replay mode works. But you guys can see the absolute carnage from the overworld side. It will be absolutely crazy.